Welcome, everybody, to Stay Curious. I'm your host, Mark Marquette, broadcasting live from downtown Titusville, Florida, in the American Space Museum. We are just 10 miles away from this once legendary launch pad. And beside me is good partner of the American Space Museum, veteran of over 700 rocket launches. He doesn't even look that old, does he? Carleton Bailie, welcome to Stay Curious. How you
It's,
doing,
it's a
buddy?
pleasure as always, and I'm glad to know that we'll be on a regular basis now. We're looking forward to that.
Well, good. We're going to have Carlton on the second Thursday of the month. That accomplishes two things. You having some good conversation with a great guy and what he's up to and some of the historical missions he's photographed. And I have a Museums of Brevard, the Mob, second Thursday of the month. And so it allows me to get a program together without a whole lot of stress. And we're glad that everybody's watching. I'm messing with the microphone there. Marty Winkle, my co-producer, is on the Streamlabs there. And we've got a little potpourri of a little bit of Carlton's career, have a little fun along the way there. Go through the rocket launches of August that were notable in your career, from walkouts of an astronaut. Well, actually, you photographed some astronauts arriving at Kennedy Space Center, landing on the shuttle strip, to a White Room shot or two of a very important NASA Mars mission that we're going to talk about here. And this is a gorgeous shot chosen here. Were you in a ultra light or
Now, a
a air
helicopter.
balloon or a helicopter?
Yeah, it was Superfly. Yeah, it's no, they took us. Boeing took us out in a helicopter over the ocean
And that
and
is the Delta.
Delta Four Heavy. First time they had rolled the Delta Four Heavy. First time they displayed the Delta Four Heavy out there. So first time it had ever been on the pad.
Wow.
And they took us out in the helicopter over the ocean, and they had a ball turret underneath it, where there was a video camera, high def video camera. So they came in like the old Miami Vice shot over the ocean, just a few feet over the ocean, kind of, and got to the beach, and then went straight up over the rocket. So it was pretty impressive.
Well, we're gonna see a couple more shots of that. Thank you, Marty, for using this as a green screen, and I'm bringing up my YouTube channel here so we can take your questions to Carlton. Marty can also chime in there. Once again, a seasoned veteran of photographing not just rocket launches, but white room setups, VIP parties, that sort of thing. So we've got Dave Stangy's watching. Says hello to you, Carlton.
Hello,
You
Dave.
met Dave, and Robert Law you met this year at
Mm-hmm.
Show Fest. Gary Gerald, meant to follow up on you, Gary. Hope you're feeling okay. He was in the museum the other day and with his wife Donnie. So I'll catch up with you, brother. So yeah, let's look at a little couple things going on here. There's the tease for Carlton's show today. There, we were just talking. Obviously, that picture I know is taken out Kennedy Space Center Visitors Complex
Mm-hmm.
at the astronaut encounter. We're looking forward to seeing Jose Hernandez tomorrow.
That's right. Yep.
And
Seen
we're
him once out there, but he's one of those that I was truly impressed with his story, because don't just go out there for he gives this talk, and he doesn't just say, "Oh, I went to space and this is the great things I did in space." It's like his movie. He talks about the trials and the tribulations and the setbacks he had growing up, which a lot of the astronauts don't cover.
yeah,
So he goes and he tells the good stuff and the bad stuff, and shows how you can overcome it.
Jose Hernandez, the first migrant from migrant worker to astronaut, rejected somewhere like 16 times, and went on 128 and brought back our good friend Nicole Stott. We'll see a picture of her in a minute here. So you got your vehicle loaded up yet for the collectible show? You're a vendor there, I know, as we are.
No, I'll start
Saturday
loading
at
up.
Sands History Museum is a wonderful space collectible show. I remember going to it for the first time 9 years ago. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Well, I'll have
time
three
flies.
tables, and whether you, of course, I'd like them to buy my stuff so I can feed the animals,
But
but
come to our
but
table first.
there's so many people that have anything from Matchbox toys to things that have flown to the moon. And when you buy from this man here, you're supporting the American Space Museum. So if I've got something and they've got something, even if it's more expensive, buy it from him and support the museum.
We'll get Robert Law's question there in a minute. Think about what kind of film you'd like to use. It was your favorite. We'll talk about that in a minute. And Tom Celentano says good afternoon. He always enjoys Carleton's photos. And I met. Well, let me get up there another little thing there that this is breaking news. First time that we've revealed this poster. Save the date. Shuttlefest 5. NASA at Star City. American astronauts on Russian spaceships. June 19th to 21st at the Cocoa Beach Hilton. Though the event Friday night, the 19th, will be here at our fundraiser Friday at the American Space Museum. We will be filling this center picture of the Soyuz spacecraft up with our astronauts who are going to come to the event. And we've already got Mike Baker, who was the NASA Director of Operations at Star City for about 3 years. And then on the other, that'll be our Star City Saturday. And then we'll have Space Shuttle Sunday and put all the other non-Star City astronauts on that agenda. And we got Tom Jones booked up so far.
The singer?
No, but he's used to that joke for sure.
I'm sure.
No, 4-time flyer, 3 awesome books, big supporter of Smithsonian Institute. He lives in Baltimore. And we're going to hopefully get Jose Hernandez committed over the weekend here. So, yes, we're going to save the date, June 19th to 21st. We'll roll out the prices and stuff that we're going to do here in the coming weeks. Big fundraiser for us. Well, Carleton, I wanted to brag about some of your a couple of your best of, and a little bit about the environment out there. Between you and me is one orbiter, and off in the distance is another. And what a beautiful rainbow. Do you recall the occasion of this shot?
They had the 2 orbiters on the pads, which I think they had once or twice before, but
frankly, they have it over 17 times we've looked up.
Okay.
There's been 2 orbiters on the pads.
And I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at the date on the picture, but the point in this picture was they took us out to get a picture of the 2 orbiters together. So they had to take us to a photo place where we could get the first orbiter and then the second one in the same frame. And while we were out there, that's when the rainbow appeared. So the rainbow was like thrown in as well, you slumped through the jungles to get out here to take this picture, so we'll throw a rainbow up there for you.
That's very rewarding. Photography's a lot of hurry up and wait. And but awesome photo. And the RG Jubilee agrees with that on there. You just a couple days ago flied your craft out there at the second Vulcan launch. Tell us about that. Where's this? That handheld on the causeway?
That's out over on the causeway. Now they kept us back probably another half mile farther away. We were farther away for this one than we normally go for, say, the Atlas
and this
5.
Was off pad. Which pad?
41.
Okay.
37's
gone, right? That's where
37 is gone. They've
already
started rebuilding on that one. They're not wasting any time. But this had 4 boosters on it.
Yeah.
And I think they moved us away because it was a larger rocket than the Atlas 5. And what they call the BDA or BDZ, the blast danger zone, blast danger area, is
BDA, blast danger area. Okay, there's an acronym.
There's a new one for you.
Get out of my BDA, Marty.
So they move us where the computers say is nothing hazardous is going to hit you out there. And I've seen a lot. There was a little moisture in the air because it was like 85% humidity, but not raining. And move a little bit back closer here. So once it cleared the tower, it just blew into a bright light because the 4 boosters
very bright.
were the brightest I've ever seen. They reflected off the smoke, and it was it's the brightest launch I've seen outside of, say, a shuttle launch,
Hmm.
probably, or the Artemis kind of thing.
I was 35, 40 miles away in New Galley, and it lit up the river up there for sure. Um, we didn't hear any noise up there. Was it very noisy?
Um,
It was very windy, so the wind was blowing the noise in the other
you could
direction.
hear it. I don't, if I'm so usually I'm so busy concentrating on whether I'm actually got it in focus and in frame that my mind kind of cuts out
Hmm.
all the volume and stuff. And I go back and listen to the video. I went live on Facebook with it, and it did seem to be loud, but not as loud as some because we had nothing behind us for it to reverberate off
Hmm.
of. Um,
Awesome. Yeah. Well, great. Always thrilled to have a launch twice a week. It seems like
well, I had enough trouble.
you got the obligatory streak shot with your other, and you can see how hot the SRBs are. You probably could have cranked down to another f stop on
Well,
that
that
one.
was already up to like
32.
22.
Okay.
That's with 100 speed um, equivalent. Well, the ASA on the computer can. So that was like the least amount of light I could get. But yeah, it's that initial blast right off the pad always. So I try to wait a second or two after it launches so that you don't have all that glare of the
Doug
pad.
Force has joined us here, as Steve Jokums has. Hi guys, great to see you. Bruce Smith, hello Bruce. On there, we got a little battle of the Hawaiian shirt, so to
Hey,
speak, going on here. You've got a nice one on there. You've got a cat
where we
and
go.
a spacesuit riding a shark.
Riding a shark.
Okay, riding a shark there on the bottom. So, and I've got my NASA. I live in Florida. Comfy shirt on here. 90 degrees every day here.
Brutal, brutal.
Yeah, but we're used to that. Now we're keeping our eye on the tropics, and this is
Gosh.
now the hurricane season, big time coming on here. So there's
Well,
your buddy Fodsy. I love this picture of Artemis. I think I have another one in here of just the gravel of Artemis. We'll see. I got some pictures jumbled up here, so you have to bear with me because we want to talk about you being in the White Room with the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter 19 years ago. It was launched, and you were there. And this is an amazing and important orbiter, and I wanted to share a little bit of few pictures of that, and we may talk some about that on tomorrow's show about Curiosity being on Mars for I think 15 years. These rovers, if a NASA interplanetary spacecraft doesn't break down right away, it lasts twice as long as it was supposed to, or even longer.
mhm.
Seems like so.
I'll have a Sojourner rover for sale at the thing. Battery
Do
operated.
you?
It's
Yeah.
remote control, wireless.
Yep, I've got one around here somewhere. I think still, but show up Fodsy there. Godzilla, but
Fodzilla for copyright infringement
right.
reasons.
And FOD is what is FOD?
Foreign object debris.
Yep. So that's appropriate to this is Fodsy. You got a little spacesuit for him. I didn't take a picture of all your little friends that you take out to your launch pad, but
He takes
we've
different
done
ones.
that before. Uh,
Um,
being a launch photographer is not without its danger. I'm sure you'll never forget this day.
The danger on this picture is not even in the picture. My sister was visiting. God rest her soul. She was my younger baby sister. She came down, and this was STS 73. And I got her out to the press site, and there was an alligator out there. And I said, "Ooh, go stand over there. You have your picture taken with the alligator." And she goes, "No, it's gonna." I said, "No, it's not gonna do anything." I said, "Plus the bank is like 5 feet high, and just stand." So she stood there and ran away. And I said, "Okay, me next." And as I'm standing there, this was, I think, when they took it out, they removed this and replaced it someplace else. But he was 13 feet, 14 feet, and he was halfway up the bank when she took this picture. Now, the real danger was this is the first picture she showed my mom when she got back to Virginia. And my mom immediately got on my phone and blew me out for putting her daughter in harm's way like that.
Oh, okay.
But
It didn't care about you
no, no,
getting
no.
eaten up by a 13-foot alligator.
It's just another day in paradise out there.
Yeah. But you know, you look around, you're aware of your surroundings pretty big time when you're out
Oh,
there.
you got to be.
And how about the mosquitoes?
They are so big you can see their eyes light up. They got tiger stripes on them, and you literally they're huge. I think they've mutated over the years from all the rocket dust they've been breathing in, and maybe a couple of little plutonium payloads
That's
that went
right.
up there.
Yeah,
But
they
they are
set some.
huge.
There's a buddy shot.
That
I'm
is.
sure you remember that. I believe this was that's. Tell them who that is. And
Well, it's Mark Usiak on. Okay, was that the right? Is that yeah? It's my left, but
yeah,
you're right.
stage right.
Al Warden, who was a very good friend of Mark's, and because he was such a good friend of Mark's, he kind of got me in on the, if you want to be Mark's friend, you got to be, take me along with it. So this is at one of the days where he was giving a talk over there at the visitor center, and it was before, I guess they were signing autographs maybe, but this is right outside
Yeah, they used to take a picture right outside
right
there
outside.
and then go sign autographs, and they got rid of that part.
And this is one of the.
That was, I think, in December 2019, because he passed away March 2020.
Okay.
And,
But he was, Mark and I could be sitting in Zarella's eating dinner, and Al would walk in, and he'd see Mark and just come over and sit down at the table. And I'm like, no, this is
yeah,
so
Apollo
surreal.
15 astronaut orbited the Earth 74 times. He, good friends with Hazel Seacack Banks, our wonderful supporter here. She's told us many stories to you all about him, and she's told me a lot of ones I'm not going to repeat about him. But what a great guy! Helped the
That's
museum a lot
two of
in the Apollo era.
Two of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet or be with, and I say that with, in all sincerity, Mark, that come on down anytime.
Okay. All right.
My mentors.
Of course, you're always capturing great astronaut pictures and ones of me. Okay, there's our friend Nikki Stott over in St. Petersburg. Pretty sure she'll be committing to Shuttle Fest this year. And who are these ladies and men?
This is the Fram 2 crew. Well, the billionaire wasn't there. The only one that could have paid the bill wasn't there.
Right.
But this is I'm not
Your
even.
bill.
Yeah. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the names.
Right.
But the one on my left, or stage, I was going to say the one in the blue shirt, the blue T-shirt, was the commander of the Fram 2 flight.
On the far right, she was the commander.
The middle one was the pilot.
Yeah,
and
they were all Icelandic Europeans. Two of them, I think, the man had been the gentleman. Forget our names. This is the Fram 2 paid private over the poles mission for about 10 days. And I thought that was a great mission. As far as a private mission, they were really doing some science, flying through the aurora. The gentleman on the far left had been to Antarctica many times.
He might still be there going back, because I'm a friend of his on Facebook, and he's always posting pictures of him in suits that look like you could walk across the Antarctic in.
So Marty, as Marty Winkle knows, it's fun to be us here on the Space Coast sometimes when John Zarella, the legend at CNN Cable News Network, called me up and you up and said, Mark, I got the Fram 2 astronauts coming down here for dinner. Come join us. I want to get a crowd down here. And Fram 2, that's like, that was Corey McLenithan's sponsor in NHRA drag racing, the Fram Oil people. And no, that's a mission. Look it up. So then we met them and had a good time. And then, what a wonderful mission. And I'm going to go forward here. I got a mistake. There's your streak shot of them going to space. A night launch there. We call that the streak because the streak there, Carleton's got his clothes on, I promise you.
As opposed to the Ray Stevens streak.
As opposed to the Ray Stevens streak,
Look it up,
the country
guys.
song there. A little bit of a technique there you got to master. Low ISO on the camera. It's a 2 or 3 minute exposure. You got to have a really wide angle lens. So sturdy tripod and a few other nuances there to get the results there. So, but yeah, the Fram 2 crew, that's just amazing. We met them, and hell, they were in space like 2 months later after we met them. That was
Yeah,
really,
not
really
long
cool. And I
afterwards.
give it to them, a great mission. I tried to follow as much of it as I could up there, looking out the cupola at the aurora going on, stuff like that. Yeah, amazing. I always like this picture you took. This is I think this is Peggy Whitson's crew. This is
Yeah,
Whitson's
right.
delayed mission here. The Axiom 4 crew there. The crew gangway there, and I never seen people above it there.
We were
Great picture,
we were sitting
Carlton.
out there putting up remotes, and I'd never been out there. So it's like you said earlier, you have to be aware of your surroundings at all times, and yeah, you got to multitask. And for me, and my little brain, that's kind of difficult sometimes. But you kind of see something like
He's
this,
got a squirrel brain.
squirrel, and you see something like this, and it puts in perspective just how big this object, this rocket, this
Yeah,
spacecraft
it does put in
is.
good perspective there. Yeah, and it's just a way cool shot there. I like 9 years ago, and rooting around our collections, and very involved with the eBay that we comes and goes as we work on it. And I saw this picture with great interest there of a rocket going in front of the moon. And I saw about 11 by 14 of it, Carlton. And I thought, as a photographer, I'm going, wow, that's on film. That this is way before GPS had apps to fix on your phone to do this. I'm going, I wonder who that photographer is. And by circumstances, a lot involving the UCAC brothers, you and I met, and yeah, you signed that for me. But you were the first one to capture a rocket going in front of the moon, and that was the cover of
Aviation Week.
Aviation Week and Space Technology there.
Lockheed Martin's CEO used it for his Christmas card that year. And that
And you
was,
got $50 for the whole thing, probably.
no, I got it for free, but I did get my name on the back of his Christmas card, and he
No, I
said,
mean paid for the
"Oh,
picture there.
picture." No, I got a cover,
As a
so it was
stringer.
a couple hundred. But
Good, yeah.
uh,
And now this is a piece of cake. When you see this all the time, what is the difference between when you took this picture, Carlton, in
2000.
2000, 25 years ago, and today?
Well, the Air Force said, "There's the rocket. This is where you can set up," and we set up. And it delayed and it delayed, and we didn't move, and we couldn't leave, we couldn't do anything, we could wander around, but we were told by the Air Force, you can't go anywhere but here to here, and we stayed there, and it was only because it delayed about 25 minutes or so that we did it. And being film, we saw what we saw or thought we saw, but we didn't know till the next day because it was too late to develop it that night. And it was
At the lab.
the next day it
You
was,
had it. Eureka.
and
Boy,
it was shot with a lens that the UCAC brothers had left me to
how
borrow.
much focal length there for the photographer?
That was an
About
800.
800. Ooh, wow. Yeah, that is probably 800. Good clarity on the moon too. That really adds to this shot.
And I've seen one other one with a rocket, and I'll be very honest because I paid dues where they're due. The Orlando Sentinel fella got one, but his rocket was more centered, and the flame completely blew out the moon. So you really didn't see all the details of the moon. So,
All right, what I'm going to go through here now is I didn't put up the slide of the shuttles of August. There's 9 beautiful shuttles of the month of August. You were involved with quite a few of the launches there. One of them, STS-43, in 1991. We've got John Blaha, the commander, Mike Baker is the pilot, and we've got Shannon Lucid, Jim Adamson, and David Lowe as the mission specialists. And I've gotten to know, Marty and I both gotten to know, and I think you went with us a couple of times, Bakes. And Jim Adamson, I've had the privilege of having lunch with him a dozen times in a NASA group that meets once a month when he's in town. And
I got to know David Lowe very well.
Oh, did you?
While they were flying.
He passed away of cancer there. Mike Baker's on the far right. David Lowe's beside him. You got John Blaha, commander in the center there. Also, what a career Blaha has had. He was on the Mir space station. And of course, there's mustachioed Jim Adamson and Shannon Lucid. And that's a cool photo. And I'm not sure that's Photoshop or not. I think I was told that wasn't, though they got a bright light on the astronaut. So even if it is Photoshop, that's really
It's one of those you just look at and you don't ask. You just admire and say, "Gosh, I wish I could do that."
Indeed. And but this is something you did do.
Yep.
You did do that.
And it's
What's going on there?
this is more than likely this is for their launch. They do a TCTD, a practice countdown 3 weeks in advance.
TCTD test.
Terminal countdown demonstration test.
Yeah, terminal countdown demonstration.
Where they take it down to they would take it down to right before the boosters would ignite, and
Complete dry rehearsal except igniting the booster.
And when they would fly in for the the launch, they would line them up here, give them a microphone, and each one would stand up there, and it was pretty much the same thing. Hi, we're here. We flew over our rocket. It looks real good. We're ready. The rocket's ready, and let's do it on time.
Yeah.
And
Look at Bakes there, Marty. We've gotten to know him pretty good. He looks pretty macho there.
I'll have to take him some of these next time he's here.
Yeah. And Jim Adamson might like that one too. Jim, West Point graduate, Baker. Not sure what he was. I think he's Navy. But anyway, so that was a routine. Now you're in a mosh. You got 20 photographers around you. TV,
50, yeah.
50 maybe.
And you got
photographers, TV, radio, print media.
And it always bugged us because you'd have the print media, which was trying to write, and they'd try to get the front places.
Yeah, right. They could be in the back.
Yeah.
But in my career, isn't it amazing how so many video photographers are over 6 feet tall? I mean, it's like, if you're 6'5" and you want to get in the media business, here you're going to hold a camera because you can look over everybody.
But most of the people out there were nice enough and kind enough to make room so that nobody really suffered from it.
Well, there's the walkout, they call it. Tell us about that.
Well, and they would take us over about 3.5 hours before the launch. They would walk out of the O&C building, which I believe that's the one they renamed the Neil Armstrong building.
Yes.
And they would walk out, and back in the day, the early days, the commander would always walk out first, and usually it was the pilot, and then the rest would try to catch up. And the photographers would take ladders over to stand up because otherwise you'd get them straight on and you wouldn't be able to see the people in the back.
Oh, I got you. So little stool ladders.
Little stool ladders, little step ladders. And back in these days, they walked, and you had the Astro van parked about 10 feet away in the direction the Blaha, I guess, is heading. And what would happen is that they would just walk and go straight into the van. And if you didn't get them right then and there, now later on, and I think it was, I don't know if it was Pam Melroy might have been the first one. She brought her people out. Is either Pam or Eileen? But I think it was Pam. Brought the crew out and stopped them and stood them up in front of the van and gave everybody a couple minutes to take a very nice walkout kind of picture. But this they would walk out, get in the van, which is now on display at the visitor center, I think.
Yeah.
And they would then
by getting autographs.
They would go out and to the pad, get in the rocket, and with any luck would be on their way to fly.
And there's luck would have it. They were launched there, STS-43. I'm going to get my scroll out here. Hadn't had to scroll there. I think that's a Hasselblad Tommy Usiak photograph there. But you talk about the relationship with the Usiaks. This is August 2nd, 1991, and that's Atlantis's 9th flight on 39A.
34 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
On there. And there's another one. They helped mentor you, did they not? Your first shuttle launch was
51L Challenger. I did
Wow.
not have remotes out for that. I just saw it from the press site and photographed it from the press site. It was kind of start at the top and work your way down because even though there was another disaster with Columbia, when Challenger was launched, you got the impression that nothing was ever going to happen. You knew it was possible, but it caught everybody by surprise.
25th launch of a shuttle.
And so when Columbia happened, it caught everybody by surprise, but it had happened before. So you kind of knew it was, but when Challenger went, it stunned everybody. They were not
Yeah,
prepared
what a
for
way to
it at
break
all.
into the business.
It
Yeah.
it was you. I was out there and the teacher in space. I was supposed to enjoy myself, and then there's going to be another one in 3 weeks, and I was supposed to know everything. And I learned real quick on the fly what to do, who to talk to, what doors to close, and
Well, we wish we could take these kind of pictures, but this is a remote camera. The crew of 43, which I call Richard Petty, after the great race
oh,
driver and his blue car, blue Roadrunner. There's Bakes on the far right, and Adams in the middle, David Lowe, Upside Down's Lucid, and John Blaha. And they did the first email from Space Carleton. We talked about that over the weekend on August 9th. Shannon Lucid and Jim Adamson sent Marcia Ivans this email. Why don't you say what the email is?
it says hello Earth, greetings from the STS 41 crew,
43.
43 crew. Yeah, I can read. This is the first Apple link from space. Having a great time. Wish you were here. And very,
Send.
send an RCS.
Send cryo.
Oh,
in
send
RC.
cryo for
Yeah.
us. My eyes are
And then
gone.
the end of it is hasta la vista, baby.
We'll be back.
That sounds like Jim Adamson that made there. And but wow, and Apple sent the first email from space. That's a good trivia question there. Maybe we'll see it on one of those TV shows that are so popular. That'd be a great question. Nobody would get it.
Marty's
of course.
question of the day.
No one would get it. Yes, there's Jim on that Apple computer sending that email. Looks like he's got a sweater vest on there.
It looks like he's at work.
Yeah,
like
I
a
know,
regular
like,
job.
like he's at the cubicle at Time Newsweek magazine, in there. Yeah, but I think it was a polo shirt that had blue on there. Like I said, Jim Adamson's a very under the radar astronaut. He doesn't like doing public things because he told me once you open that opportunity, it's a floodgate that you can't say no. And he wishes he could talk to all the school groups he could, but because he don't want to single them out, he doesn't talk to any of them. But this is the TDRS tracking data relay satellite that I think there's 6 of them orbiting the Earth right now that are important for communications now with the International Space Station in the ground and other things going on. That's without the solar panels relayed out on it. And there's your landing of STS-43. So you saw you photographed the when they landed on their T-38s and then the walkout. And of course you had pictures, I know, of the launch, but not as good as Tom's. So
No.
that's why I shot and showed Tommy's. But
It makes it
there's
feel
some
good.
timing involved here. This is like going 200 miles an hour. What was that like?
It
And
was.
what did it sound like?
You kind of heard a whoosh, a really loud whoosh.
Because it's a glider. Those you don't know, no active engines on here.
So before touchdown, it's going almost 300 miles, and then after it touches down, by now it's maybe down to 200 and some. You hear whooshing noises as it whooshes past you, and it's got some APUs, I think, that you see at night on the back near the
Oh yeah. You see the venting,
and you see
flame.
the flames coming up, so you hear the whoop 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 of
Yeah.
that. But other than that, it's just it'd be like watching NASCAR with no engines, going 300, 200 miles an hour.
Or electric cars that are coming down the road.
Yeah.
Very good shot.
But-
But boy, this is a hell of a shot here. This is, I think, your best landing shot. What an illusion it is that those people are so close. But my God, that's my favorite landing shot that you've taken.
for me,
You remember what? I think it was 118.
118, the Barbara Morgan flight. And the thing with me and the shuttle is many times I see it, I like this kind of landing shot more than the front one. For some reason, I like to see the top of the wings in an angle like that so you can see the wings still up. And this is it's one of those things, you don't plan it, you just happen to get it, and then you're looking, go like, whoa, I did that?
Yeah.
And
The patina on Atlantis and everything, or 118. What was the orbiter 118? Let me see if I beat Steve Jokums to it. Fetch the scroll here. 118 was Endeavour. This is the 20th flight of Endeavour. Yeah, that's Scott Kelly and Hobaugh. Tracy, Williams. By the way, yeah, Caldwell Dyson. Her birthday's today. Tracy Caldwell Dyson's 56 today. And
youngster.
She was on this landing.
But
right
Barbara,
there.
I gave one of these
Barbara
pictures to
Morgan.
Barbara, and the astronauts like this kind because they don't see pictures like this from NASA, because NASA will put out pictures like the other ones, just the orbiter coming in, and pictures like this NASA doesn't put out. But this, they see their loved ones standing there watching them come back in, and it kind of excites them to go like, well, I've never seen this before. And it's like, well, now you have, and you know where to come for more.
Outstanding photo there. That should be in your permanent brag book.
That is.
Hope you're enjoying this conversation with Carleton Bailie for, we don't like to admit it when we're this age, but over close to 5 decades, at least the better part of 4 of them, you've been getting up at all hours in the heat and rain even and stuff, going out to Kennedy Space Center or Cape Canaveral Space Force and plying your trade as a rocket photographer. You also did other pictures we'll see here. I got a few pictures out of sequence here. We're going to talk about the launch of the Atlas V that you photographed that the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter was on. But I've got some pictures of Mars here, a little out of sequence. Doesn't matter. We're photographers. That is a vista off of Mount Sharp, where Curiosity has been roving for over 15 years. All right. Doesn't that look like Southwest New Mexico?
It does. The Grand
Look at the striation in the mountains in the distance. You only get that from an ocean was once here where this is. This is a photograph of the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter that we're going to talk about the launch here in a second. Photographing Curiosity rover where it had gone down in a crater, all right, and crossed across the crater. Just amazing to have this kind of imagery from space. And I love the pictures that the navigation cameras take. The wheels are getting chopped up and busted up. They knew this before they sent Perseverance to Mars and beefed those up a little bit. But it only goes... It goes like half the pace of which you walk. It doesn't even go when you walk. It goes like about a foot every minute, maybe, if you're lucky. But look at the mountains in the background, Carleton, underneath the belly.
Even machines want to have to take selfies now.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of my favorite pictures of your Artemis 1 on there. I was always trained by the Associated Press, get down low or get up high. Don't get where everybody else is.
You couldn't get much lower than this.
You're on your belly there with your camera on the gravel there, the famous, what is it, Arkansas River Rock. Tennessee River Rock it is. That rock will not give off a spark when crushed. That's why it comes from the Tennessee River. But beautiful shot there. And Artemis 2 seems to be getting some momentum going on here. You're in the loop of the emails and stuff.
It just went out. I think I sent that. They just took it over to install some pyros, I think, or to some more ordinances on it. So it's one step closer to making it to the VAB.
And they fueled it up. The Orion spacecraft we're going to see here. I think a picture of you. Another picture that I thought I deleted of the Mars rover. You did not take that picture, but
no.
Look at the dent there on the bottom there.
I wonder if they've been getting calls.
Martian was beaten on that.
Well,
that's what I think.
NASA's getting calls for extended warranties.
Yeah. And this Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter was designed to search for evidence of water on Mars and provide support for missions to Mars. It is the only communications satellite that we can rely on to talk to the two orbiters, and it's 20 years old. And I don't know why there's not money in the pipeline to put communication satellites around Mars. You can't go there unless you have them. So until they orbit them, I ain't thinking about Elon Musk going to Mars. How in the heck's he going to talk to everybody? It's very difficult to do that from the surface of Mars. But there's all 6 lunar orbiter. This is the lunar orbiter, not the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. That's a mistake of mine. Let's get to some more of your work there. Our background there. That had to be fun looking at that.
It was
A silo growing up in the Midwest like I did. That's just a corn silo there.
I look at these and I've been looking. I found the pictures. I thought I'd given them all to Boeing, and I found the backup disc last night looking for the MRO, and so I still got everything I shot from that day. But I think I just kind of took it for granted. Now I'm looking at these things because it'll never be done again. And when we did this shot, the helicopter pilot was told us to keep 50 feet away from it. And so he was staying 50 feet away from it. What the base meant was 50 feet horizontally, and he was 50 feet vertically over it, and that was a no-no. So as soon as they saw him flying over it, they kind of got him on the radio and says, "Back off." So, but that's how we got these shots, and you can't really see it on the screen here, but looking at the hard copy, you see people on the bottom walking around, and it's like you can see a white car just to the.
Oh yes, right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird to point
Right
there.
there.
There's a car.
It's like looking, standing on top of a 500-foot mountain or building and looking down, and the people are ants.
And Marty's got his arrow there.
There it is.
A little lower. Lower.
Oh, there he is.
There it
Yeah.
is. It was. It's.
Well, watching that thing launch, and they have launched the last one, right? We saw the last one last year.
Yep, and this is the pad.
When they reach 0, it like goes like almost 10 seconds of flames before it launches.
The first one they were very afraid of because they fired all the engines at once. The flames came up, and I think they thought it was
Gonna
dead
blow
on
it
the
up.
pad. So what they did is they learned that they staggered the engines a little bit so that they didn't all go completely full at once.
Yeah,
And
flame
then
envelops this silo of basically fuel.
But this is the pad. This is where the Starship's going to be launched from. That's pad 37.
Another good look there. Think of that starship sitting there someday. Lightning towers. We're going to go out with a cool lightning tower shot that I don't know if you took it or not, but look at the infrastructure here. You got on the right-hand side the a water pool, right,
Mhm.
for sound suppression. Left side fuel tank.
And you got the
Atlantic Ocean.
well, there's where my finger would be is the vent for the
Oh,
flame
right.
trench. Flame
Yeah.
trench right.
Flame trench right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Flame
at the
trench going.
back is because the flames would go out. There's a water trough at the very. I say trough. It's like a pond almost at the very back of the tower. Now the tower would be up around the vehicle.
Yeah, there's your water right there.
Yeah.
The arrow up.
The tower would be
Okay.
up around
Go ahead, Marty.
the rocket as they're preparing it, and then the morning or the evening, a few hours before launch, they would roll the tower back, and it would go back to a fixed position away from the rocket, and that way they could, if something happened, they could roll it back up if inclement weather was starting to come and they needed it back up there.
Excellent there. By the way, Steve Jokums thinks that's Discovery and not Endeavor that we photographed there. So
Oh,
we
okay.
could be out of. There was a Y on the end there. I'm sure he's right. So, but the key is the beautiful shot that you had there. All right, there we were just talking about Orion in production for 15 years. One flight, 2 flights technically. The when the single stick took it up and back. But what was the occasion there?
This is the next Orion to fly. They were prepping it in the ONC
You got
maybe.
the same shirt on today
Yeah.
too, by the way. How about that?
but they were prepping. It was News Media Day to show before they started loading things into it that we either couldn't see or they didn't want us in there because if they had an accident, then they didn't. But they were preparing it, the final phase of preparing it, before it moved into the phase it's in now, where they're loading up the propellants and
So there's the, don't cross that
the
yellow and
the
black
yellow
line
line
there.
was, and you couldn't the in front of me was the other side of the room, and something was over there, but they told us just don't point cameras over that way. So I don't
So
know.
how many people were there in this
There was,
bevy
well,
of
they took us in
photographers?
3 different groups. I think they put like about 10 in each group
Uh-huh.
because you only had about 15
So you
feet.
said to Julian Leak, here, there's my camera, take a picture of me.
I forget who took my
Not
picture.
just bringing
No, but
Julian up, a good friend of ours.
oh yeah, yeah. No, this was the guy from Channel 13, I think.
Uh-huh. Good, good, good. Uh, this is MRO launch.
MRO, yes.
Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. That's Atlas V.
Atlas V. Back in the day when film was the
So,
thing.
what kind of film would you use? Robert Law wants to know back in the day. And this is a tricky question because his daytime's going to be different film of ASA or ISO, as they call it now.
Right.
But did you favor Kodak, Fuji?
I shot
Uh,
Kodak because I like the colors. Fuji had a tendency to be greenish bluish,
oh, yeah.
and there were so many things out there like, oh, I don't know.
Kodak's definitely on the red end of the spectrum.
And the space
Fuji
shuttle
was blues and greens, which is what the sky and grass is.
right, but the shuttle was white and you wanted it white, so I used Kodak.
Uh-huh.
If you knew it was going to be a bright sunny day, when the 25 Ektar at 25 film came out, you could use that, and I was the first one to do that, and everybody said, "No, you can't do it," and then they saw it and they started putting it out. On a normal day launch,
Yeah, that's some sweet film. You photographers out there, that Ektar.
25, and
yeah.
then it was like
But
very
Fuji
fine.
had their own Velvia and Provia. I
yeah,
used a lot of Provia and
that's what we had for the
people
Hasselblads.
pictures.
Fuji for the Hasselblad.
Talking shop here, photography with Carleton Bailie. Those of you out there from the film era that ended basically 25 years ago know what we're talking about here. But
Making a comeback, I hear.
it is not Kodak making a comeback,
Nah.
though. Can you believe that they're going to go out of business? All right, a 133-year-old American company can't find its way anymore.
Well, the
Their-
dinosaurs went extinct.
their
and
digital cameras were horrible in the beginning, and just the dinosaur. It's just an amazing thing. Paul Simon will still sing about it in Kodachrome.
Mhm.
A cool little song there, but
For day launches, to get back to Robert's question, day launches generally would be 100 to 200 speed. And I eventually moved strictly to pretty much 200 speed for daytime launches because it gave just, and used the 100 speed settings, because it gave just enough latitude the way we'd have things set that if it got a cloud over it at the last minute, or if it got a little cloudy, you had a little bit built in. It's not like you've got the raw now for the cameras where you can switch everything after you get it back. Nighttime was basically, unless it was a very bright one right next to the rocket, I put at the base of the rocket, I could put 200 and get away with it. But normally I would usually put 400 out a lot at night launches. And sometimes if you're shooting like at the press site 3.5 miles away, you'd use 800. The moonshot was 400 speed.
okay, good stuff. 400 was my wheelhouse because I shot thousands of rolls of Triax and developed it, and my brain thinks 400 in the light. Here is the fairing of the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter that you shot in the White Room. Launched on August 12th, 2005. So we're celebrating the 20th year for this wonderful machine. Reached Mars in March, about a 9-month journey in 2006. And it did aerobraking. It used its solar panels to dip down in the atmosphere to straighten out its orbit once it got into orbit. It was observing the climate, geological forces, reconnaissing future landing sites. There you are with it in there. What is that here in Titusville?
That was in
Astrotech?
no, that was over at the Space Center. That's actually the same room over to the side. to the at the right of the picture where all the workers are, just over to past them, that's where the fairing was. So it's getting in the final stages of being prepped, and they were prepping and going to put it in the fairing there.
And you're all prepped up there as they make that smaller. That is you there in a bunny suit.
That is me in a bunny suit. So
spectacles before your cataract surgery.
Right,
maybe.
right. When I was a youngster, and yeah, I've been doing selfies before selfies was, a thing. I think I just
couldn't bear to waste a frame of film on myself.
Yeah, and you go back and you'd also
you had 24 exposures or sometimes 36.
Big bulky cameras that you have to explain to somebody. Now you had a phone and go, boop, and that's all you need. So
there's another cool picture you took of MRO orbiting Mars once every 111 minutes. It has returned over 500 terabits of data. Helped choose landing sites for the Mars landers, discovered pure water ice in new craters, and further evidence that water once flowed on the surface of Mars. And it has discovered from orbit rocks containing carbonite. It has found 9 different classes of minerals that are only formed in the presence of water. Now, we've only found 9 minerals. How much more evidence do you want that this was once drenched in water? But it was probably 3 billion with a B years ago. It was in the early years of the 5 billion year old solar system. And it has also identified sulfates, ferrite materials. It's discovered jarosite, alunite, hematite, opal, and gypsum. All right. And 2 to 5 of the mineral classes were formed with the right pH and sufficient water to permit life to grow. And I think if we get under the caves of Mars and so forth, we might find little blind crickets or roly-polies in there. But there it is 25 years ago. Or 20 years ago in the White Room, 20 years ago.
And that would have been June, July. So that would be like a month or two before it was launched.
Here's the other 3 major orbiters, Mars Global Surveyor and Odyssey, are now all gone. All right. Life expectancy was beyond their life. They each lasted in the 20-year group. MRO joins them as orbiters that have been orbiting Mars for 20 years. We've got a couple, I want to say an Indian orbiter, we've got a Russian orbiter, and a Israeli orbiter maybe, orbiting Mars, but we have nothing from America that can pick up signals and relay them to the Earth except this MRO. And we're going to need that if we're going to land on Mars.
Yeah.
So, there is, we had a picture of him with the big beard, and now Mark Usiak's all trimmed up there.
I'm going for
you. Like squirrels, don't you?
They're best friends for life.
Is that right?
They're a lot better than some humans I know. I'll just put it that way. But not this human. This human is like a 2-legged squirrel. He fits right in with the animals at the house here. Again,
a picture I kind of took out of whack there because I wanted the VAB there. But good friend Mark Usiak, hope you're feeling better up there in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and your big brother Tommy. He's had a slight little medical issues, that we hope he's getting better over. Again, a Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, when Curiosity landed 15 years ago, it turned sideways. It took a photograph that they enlarged of the orbiter in its case and the parachute above it for the jetpack to fire and land it on the surface.
And you see pictures like that, and
there's
they don't look anything like the ground pictures. That's what you think Mars looks like, something like this. Then you see those pictures from the ground, and like you said, they look like the middle of Colorado or middle of Arizona.
It has captured dust devils on the left. Dust devils are very big on Mars, though the Mars is 1/10 our atmosphere, still sustains a healthy climatology. There's a fresh crater. Here's other sand dunes. There's the moon Phobos. Okay, just a potpourri of stuff there. But the first thing to land on Mars was Mars 3, okay, by Russia.
Hmm.
and it landed, and for about 30 seconds it worked, and then I think Marvin Martian went over there and hit it with his laser. All right. But and this is the lander right there, photographed by Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter on one of the passes. It found where it was. And I always find that's amazing. They've seen the Beagle that crash
Yeah,
landed,
because they couldn't
ESA.
find that for
They
a long
found
time.
that, and all so forth. So winding up here with some great shots of Carleton's here. Uh, one thing that I always like. I mean, it's a balance to the brightness of the SRBs, solid rocket boosters there, but what a delicate flame that is coming out of the SSMEs and those little diamonds.
Hmm.
You got to see those right coming out of there, right?
And a lot of people would look at this and go like, well, the sky that's kind of a strange sky. You got a
I
light.
know why I took a picture of this. You know where you took this from.
That was from the top of the VAB.
Yeah,
So the dark sky looking at the bottom is actually the Atlantic
yeah,
Ocean.
yeah. That's why I picked that one because I knew you took that. What's it like to be 560 feet up in the air on our Devil's Tower? I was just staring at it at Parkins at the as at 50 and Route 1 and
Well,
at the stop sign, and instead of looking at the CVS and the Cumberland gas station, I'm looking at the VAB there, just 9 miles away from me.
I'm one of these people that don't like to go up to the second floor of a mall because heights and I do not get along. We get up on top of the VAB and the adrenaline kicks in, and you can see Orlando on a good day. I mean,
Really?
you see the smokestacks over in Orlando. And to see a launch from up there, you don't just watch it, you experience it, because you hear all the car alarms on the ground going off. You feel the roof.
You hear the car alarms going off. So see, there's some minutia that y'all don't think about.
That's
Marty, you
off.
remember all the car alarms going off on shuttle launches? Let's
Yeah,
hear that.
even,
Let's hear the man's voice over there. He's being awful quiet today.
yeah, even back in Apollo days, there weren't very many alarms on cars. But the
Marty,
few
that
were
was
there,
so far back. There weren't alarms in cars back in the Apollo days. All right, the Conestoga wagon just went from canvas to
The
plastic.
horses started neighing when they.
he's he's old Apollo guys.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I
he
know.
snuck it in there though. On a shuttle program, he had to sneak the
I wish, I mean, I'm not going to trade what I've seen in the last 40 years out there for an Apollo, but I wish I do have photos from my visits of Apollo spacecraft on the pad. So I actually saw the rockets in person, but
Well, I've enjoyed talking to Carleton and teasing Marty today, and there's a cool shot just to show you exactly how tall that building is. It has its own weather.
you'd be up on top and the buzzards would be circling below you.
Oh wow, I didn't think about that.
And now they'd come swooping up over and it's you don't watch it from up there. You experience the roof shakes, and you feel the roof kind of going like this,
Really?
and
Never
you're
heard that.
like, there's nothing between me and the floor but 524 feet or something.
And there's not an elevator that like goes straight to the top.
No, there's
right?
an elevator
Explain
there's an elevator that goes up to level 34.
And there's 50 some levels, right?
And then there's an elevator, you get out of there, and then there's an elevator that goes from the 34th floor up to the rooftop. Now, a couple launches ago, people were heading up there for a launch, and the elevator broke, and they had to walk from the 34th up to the roof, which some have vowed never to enter into the VAB ever again because it was, I don't know how many floors it is because they don't have actual floors. It's just space,
Yeah.
but it'd be the equivalent of maybe, 10, 15 floors.
Launch control LCC there on the bottom right, where all the space workers are launching there, and I showed that because this is a National Historic Landmark, the Vehicle Assembly Building. And you took a picture of that. Thought that was cool. That you wasted a digital frame there.
Well,
See,
I had
at
never
film
seen-
days, I don't know. I go, gee, have I got enough film left to take this, or wait till I come next time?
I as many times as I've been over there, I'd never seen this on the front of the VAB, so I had to take a picture of it.
American Society of Civil Engineers, indeed the largest single-story building in the world, but there is hazards out there, and we end with a little bit of excitement going on here in our Space Coast. Is now you see it, now you do see it. Now you don't see it, now you do see it. Did you take these shots?
Yes, I did.
They're
Well, it
in
was
your
a remote camera.
Okay.
We
But well, that's a cool find when you look at your remote camera and see, holy cow,
and yeah, because it usually has to be a sustained noise,
where's Dr. Frankenstein when you need him?
it's alive, it's alive.
Yes.
And I think I got
Or
like
Mel Brooks, one of the two.
yeah, 5 or 6 frames off of this. And this was maybe 15 minutes after we had left the area to get back to the press site. They went into the phase 2, and then we saw this from the press site, but we weren't able to get out there for a couple of days to get our cameras. And I saw that and tried to sell it, and people were like, that's old news. It's like, no, it's not. And they go, yeah, it is.
Well, awesome. Great,
But-
great hour with you, Carleton, and our friends' social gathering that we've created here called Stay Curious on YouTube. Tell your friends to share, subscribe, like us, comment. Our algorithms are working. We appreciate everybody doing that. We have a list of lineup next 2 weeks of guests. I'm really going to fill in a lot of guests. People are asking to come on the show. We love that, including Mr. Jay Honeycutt, former Kennedy Space Center director, wants to come on, Marty, and do a program on his mentor, friend, and boss, George Abbey, who passed away about a year ago. George Abbey, the famous Johnson Space Center manager. He handpicked probably 200 American astronauts in his tenure there. So, Jay, appreciate you wanting to do that for us. We got that set up for August 21st, in fact. Tommy Usiak wanted to get in there that in the Hasselblads, and yes, Mark and Tom have donated on loan a Hasselblad remote camera setup that we're working to get it up, but we want to make it a very nice display and have a big hoorah about it.
Yeah.
Tommy says that he used Vericolor and Portra Kodak film used in the Hasselblad. Oh, Portra, like you mentioned, was a sweet, low grain film that the halide crystals were trained to be tiny instead of big clumps.
And he was
like-
always good for sending a bag or 2 boxes of them down for me to, when he left the Hasselblads, for me to put out for everybody.
And Steve Jokums gives you a comment there, Carleton, a pretty impressive resume for anybody in any mission. And we like Cliff Watson's watching, and already Friday in Pomona, Australia. There, Cliffy. He's at the end of his cold, rainy winter that they've had, he said, on the east coast of Australia. Elena at Hickory's watching in South Africa. We've got Doug Forrest. You know this guy, Dougie. He is in Los Angeles area, Pasadena, closer to Pasadena. Steve Jokums up in Illinois. Bruce Smith, one of our great docents. RG Jubilee's local. Tom Cilentano in Connecticut. Tom Usiak in Pennsylvania. Gary Gerald, don't know if you're back in Collins, Georgia yet, but best to you. Robert Law, another international Diamond Star Stay Curious watcher in Dundee, Scotland, and Dave Stengy up there in that state up north of Ohio. You know, there's that big mitt up there. They call it.
The only thing above Ohio is Canada.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We go from Ohio border, Toledo, up to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I saw when I was up there.
But getting ready for football season there in our national champion Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yep.
And of course, that team up north in Michigan, they beat us this year, but they didn't make it as far as we did all the way. But so
My first permanent writing job was Countdown Magazine, which
Oh.
was out of Athens, Ohio.
Athens, Ohio, Ohio University, a
He was
major party school,
He
not
was,
education.
he was an
center.
English professor there. He put it together, the space shuttle.
Really, Countdown came out of there, huh? Where's that known
From
at?
his basement in his home, and he put it together on an Apple computer, got it printed, and sent it out, and that's how I got my start.
That's excellent. Tom says, excellent program, CB. Looking forward to the next time. We will have Carleton on the second Thursday of the month. We'll maybe showcase some of the photos he had there. Maybe we'll just talk some shop a little bit here.
Every
or
time
what-
I go
what's
through
going
my
on.
photos, I find things that I have no clue that I did, and I'm like, oh, and that's when the squirrel pops in. It's like, oh man, I need to. So yeah, I'll make myself available anytime you need me.
Well, we're glad. No, we want to provide regular content for our viewers out there. If you're new, you enjoyed seeing Carleton today, we want to bring him back. If you didn't enjoy him today, we're going to bring him back anyway because he's a good guy here, and he's certainly helped me a lot and the museum a lot. We just want to get him into one of our gray museum polo shirts one day and
We-
start giving tours.
We survive this
there.
weekend, and then I just put the space stuff away for another year, and then
Well, you're like me. We got a memorabilia show that we hope to see you all at Saturday if you're local, 9 to 3 at the Space Sands History Center. That's right at the entrance to the Cape Canaveral Space Force there where the cruise ships are. That's the Disney and other cruise lines
they're
parks
huge.
there.
Yeah,
Uh,
Royal
they
Caribbean,
just
maybe.
recently renovated the whole place. It looks awesome. Sharon Rodriguez and her staff's there ready. Connie McDaniel will be helping us though, and that breaks their heart. But thank you, Connie, for helping us at the American Space Museum. And I bought stuff there. I'll be looking to buy and sell there. So a lot
Buy-
of fun. You never know what you're going to see there.
buy from the museum, keep this place open, so I can keep coming back.
Great. And save the date. June 19th through 21st will be Shuttle Fest 5, NASA at Star City. American astronauts on Russian spaceships. We have got a great lineup already for you all this far out. Marty Winkle, my co-chairman on this event. We've already had 4 Shuttle Fest meetings with our great staff we're pulling together, all to make this an experience that you'll never forget and want to come from around the world. You'll want to come. A non-profit fundraiser for the American Space Museum in June 19th, 21st. We'll be rolling out all the details of how much it's going to cost and all the astronauts that we're going to have there. So, Marty, go out with us here, brother. What you got?
Cliff Watson wants you to show the dinosaur again.
Oh, yes. So, thank you, Carleton and Podsy. Until next time, I'm Mark Marquette saying, We can't wait to see you again to bridge the space between us.
Woo.